Hi there and welcome back to Jay's Permaculture allotment. So it's time for part 3 of the end of March 2021 food forest tour. So we've done the first half plot food forest, then part 2 was the connecting half to that. Now we're going on to the newest creation section of food forest. So let's flip the camera around. Okay, so a few of these trees were in prior to me making this section more food foresty, but then I just had rows bed-wise. So I decided, because I like the food forest system a lot more, that I would change it up. So we're starting this side is another conference pear. Now it's interesting that this one is the exact same age as the one that I showed you on the second video, which is the one over here that's already flowering next to the Asian pear. And then for extra pollination, I deliberately put another pear, conference pear, at this side for pollinating the Asian pear. But as you can see how much further behind it is, because it's more exposed to the elements. You've got fields here, although there's not really much between this one and this one, as you can see, just a pathway here. But we should see how it does. I've put a loop in down at the base here just to add some nitrogen in. And then we've got some broad beans, or if you're in the States, fava beans. And then you've got the pineapple guava, which is this one here. If I zoom in, you can see. So it's the pineapple guava. And then I have a bigger version of that just along here in a minute. So then we've got apple tree. So the 4 on the back here, so the 1, 2, 3 and I'm on at the end 4, they've been over here a little bit longer. So this one's an apple, but this one's a Bramley, if I remember correctly, Bramley cooking apple. And then you've got 2 eating apples. One which I believe is a Cox's orange pippin, and the other one, I think it was Discovery, something like that. So we've got another perennial broccoli here. It's interesting how the leaf shape changes, because I grew these ones from seed, so slightly different shaped leaf from the others, but again starting to come into flower now, into its buds. Florets ready for harvesting. And everyone keeps asking me how I keep my brassicas from being attacked by all the pigeons, because everyone else is being attacked. And I find just having it within this type of system rather than having a brassicas bed seems to help a hell of a lot. So this one here that's also having florets, this is Portuguese broccoli. Oh no, sorry, Portuguese kale. So again, I've been told that this one's perennial, but we shall see. I'll cut back the florets the same as on the perennial broccoli and see where it goes from there. But as you can see, you've got a thick woody stem under there, and again should then, if it is, be able to root some of these stems. So if it starts getting a bit unruly, you should just be able to cut some back and replant. And then we've got the Scarlet Kale that again is supposed to die off after it's flowered. Well, this one flowered last year. I cut it right back and it decided it would want to grow again. And then one at the back here, and then we've got lemon balm at the base of the tree, and we've got some flowering bulbs here and some geums, so again to attract the pollinators. Then we've got a patch of mint here, which yes is in the ground, but it was here long before I took on the plot. And I thought, well, it doesn't take much to keep it in check and utilize it, and I can always pot it on. People are always wanting some fresh mint. And then I've got another fig just here. Again, it's another J fig, so one that I've grown from seed. Then we've got a bigger fig here, which, so you've got 1, 2, 3 stems on that one. Again, I think that was a Desert King. Then we've just got some thyme in the ground. Gooseberry that was from cuttings. So I don't know if you can see, it's already flowering. So that's gooseberry. Then here we've got hazel. But again, this one just grew from seed or from nut. And that was just the growth from last year. So it should be a fair amount bigger by the end of this year. Then we've got, this is Victoria Plum in flower, so it's only just opened its blooms today, and there's still a lot more to open yet. So this one's Victoria Plum. Then the one at the side of it, that's an opal plum. Again, they're both self-fertile, but when you can have more than one of the same type of fruit but different varieties, you'll always get better harvests. Then, well, you can see it with the actual leaves covering it. This is the Asian beauty plum, and if you follow any of my Instagrams, you will have seen this one in bloom. You can see it's still, so it'll be interesting to see if any of these do produce fruit this year. Again, this was just a spindly stick when it went in, so I wasn't expecting any flowers this year either. And we've got Chaste Berry, which is this one just here. Again, this was just a cutting last year, and it's already grown into a bush, and I've already taken cuttings from this one. And then we've got a bush cherry here. So it will only grow a maximum of 2 meters if you let it get that tall, but it stays as a bush, and that is how it naturally grows. And you can see we've got some lovely globe artichokes, and then we've got some honeyberry. A minute ago there were some big bumblebees around the honeyberry, especially on the bigger bush that I've got. Then we've got some patches of nigella coming up. This one that looks similar to a carrot. And then you've got the polar berry. So polar berry is basically a white blackberry. And then we've got the woodland garlic just at the base of the tree. You can see I just pulled out some of the weeds there, but I will compost those. I could actually just leave them exactly where they are and they will drop back into the ground, but I've got stuff that will be going in the area, so I will probably compost it separately. And we've got some comfrey coming up by the tree, and some more of the wild garlic. So the wild garlic, you just harvest the leaves, although it does produce a little bulb. You actually want to use the leaves. It's only a very short harvest period. Another fig here, some strawberries, some cranberry, some tulips. This one's orange thyme that I grew from seed last year. It's looking lovely. Now this one's Stanley Plum, so it's a new one. So remember I showed you one of the pineapple guavas, and this is the bit more mature one. So It's looking good considering it's handle temperatures of -6.5 down here. So this one is an Golden Delicious apple. Again, new one, only went in this year. Just got some cat mint here. My cat goes wild for this at home. We've got several plants at home of it. Then we've got Perennial Leeks, which again only went in this year, but they will thicken up. But again, because they're perennial, you just harvest the top and it starts sending out more green. So it just keeps going. More of the wild garlic. And we've got a dwarf raspberry. Some feverfew. I've got all different herbs. We've got chamomile and things like that around here as well. So this is the other honeyberry. So honeyberry is basically a fruiting honeysuckle. You can see it's lovely. And next to that you've got the Chaste Apple. If I zoom out. It's looking good. Got some flower spurs and flower buds on. More fava beans, more of the nigella down at the base. There's a goji there where the canes are. And then I'm happy to say there's signs of life on the Korean lime pepper. Some green buds. I say it wasn't happy where it was last year, so I transplanted it over here and it seems to be appreciating it, which is good. Then we've got a Stella cherry. Again, another new one. And then we've got another perennial broccoli down here. And if I come around here, you can see you've got some nice rhubarb. So since it's only the end of March, the rhubarb's going crazy. I believe these are Temperate early, so that's why they're up and about a lot earlier than some of the other varieties. Okay, so then we have our wildlife patch. So this whole next block here is just for the wildlife. So I've got different seedling trees and things. I've got a eucalyptus, we've got some willows, echinops coming up here, which is a really pretty thistle. Then we've got some thornless blackberry, so I let the birds have those ones. Just random flowers coming up. Some hibiscus. Then there's different irises and lupins and primulas. And then there's the pond. And there's some herbs in amongst these as well, because a lot of the herbs are also beneficial for the insects. So we've got another hazel here. Again, that was from nut. So I think at some point I'll have to transplant a few of the things out, because some of the things have come up on their own. So I think it may get a little bit too crazy, but we'll see. Nature always finds a way. So that's the path up to the pond. We should get some rain in the next few days, so that'll fill the pond back up again. And once this is all in full bloom, it looks spectacular. So it doesn't look much at the moment, but I also leave clumps of grass for things like the frogs and that to hide in. Then we've got a herb bed. So you've got lavender, wormwood, lots of different types of oregano. And we've got some thyme, rosemary, a couple of different types of sage. We do have tarragon as well, but that comes up when it warms up a bit. Bay. There is some echinaceas as well that will come up in here over the next month or so. They'll appear. More rosemary. Then we've got another apple tree, again a new one. This is a Gala Apple. You can see this stick here. It's Gala. Then you've got, these are all summer fruiting raspberry canes. And then in amongst them, you've got another green sleeve apple here. Then we've got a currant that's come up in between the raspberries here. Then we've got a nice goji, that's the more mature one. Then we've got flowers, different tulips. Then we've got loganberry, which is one of my favourite. Then you've got aronia. They were supposed to have been red aronia, but they fruited for the first time last year and they turned out to be black aronias. But they're still aronia. Another dwarf raspberry. Some lavenders. But then again, it was supposed to have been 3 of the red aronia, but I got 2 black aronia and 1 Saskatoon, or service berry as some people call it. And then we've got wineberry, and then another loganberry. We've got Welsh bunching onions down here, and then you've got strawberries as ground cover in amongst all of this. So we've got lots of flowers at the end here. There'll be different dahlias and things at the end. And we've just got some more oregano coming up here. So this is the asparagus bed, and you can see they're literally just starting to come up. That's the first main asparagus coming up. Just put it in another in the centre there. So hopefully in the next few weeks we should be getting some lovely asparagus to harvest. And then I think the last thing is this one, which is the Chaste Berry. This one here is twiggy at the moment, but will burst to life shortly. And this one's just an Angelica here that I grew from seed. I've got tons of them, so I will interplant some amongst the rest of the food forest as well. Okay, so I think that concludes part 3 of the March 2021 Food Forest Tour. So until next time, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch up with you soon. Take care for now.